You see how jumpy she is right now. She knows what time it is, and it's time to cut those nails. And she's fighting me every which way she can fight. She hates people touching her feet. Every time I take her to the vet, every time I take her anywhere, she really, really hates people touching her feet. She does not like people bothering her feet at all. And when it's time to cut her nails, I know it's a chore. When I first tried to cut her nails, she would not let me handle her at all. She was really scared. She would run away from me. She would hide. She would pull me down. She would do all kinds of stuff just to get away from me. And then I took her to the vet, and the vet didn't like what was going on. She was just terrified of a vet in general. And then they put her up on a table, tried making her comfortable, massaging her, talking sweet to her and stuff like that. It still wouldn't do any good. And then you see this dog still, after all these years, she's terrified of it. She does not like people handling her feet at all. But how did I get to the point where I could at least maintain and at least cut her nails down to where they weren't pushing her joints back in her sockets? I've always had a problem with this. People have even commented in my videos before about how she just in natural she has longer nails, and I say, look, I gotta leave her nails natural like that. She's not one of them dogs that really lets you fuss with her feet too much, but when you do, you got to make sure you're on your game and ready to go. Now, I use one of those nail clipper deals to just trim them back, and then I'll use one of those Oster kind of grinder wheels to just shape them to give them a nice look and stuff, so whenever she's walking on the carpet and things like that, her nails don't catch. But if you just look, you can see her jitter and shake right now. She ain't got no reason to be that way. It's beautiful out here. But she knows it's time to cut her nails. So she gets like this when it's that time. And then she'll, if I touch her, whatever, she starts jerking and moving her feet away from me and stuff. And then, okay, so what I had to do basically, because the vet wanted to put her down, just put her to sleep while they cut her nails and stuff. And I said, no, you're not fixing to do that to my dog. I'll give you guys a chance a couple times to cut her nails and see if you can get used to her. Spend some time with her. Put her in your doggy daycare so she can get used to you guys. And it still would not work. So the last time she actually went to the bathroom on herself, she got so nervous around the vets that I actually had to take control of it and say, look, once my dog defecates on herself because she's that scared, it's time for me to walk away and find another alternative to do this, because obviously something is not right. And it took me about I would say close to 4 months of letting her sit down next to me outside like this, and I would just grab her foot and I would just hold it, and she would yank it away from me, and then I'd grab her other foot and I would hold it, and I would just play with it, mess with her nails and stuff like that. Watch what you see right here. She's not going to like this. Every time I touch her, she starts to jump. She don't like this thing touching her at all. So, but before, she used to try to bite this thing because she was terrified of it. But now she'll at least let me rub it on her, and I got to the point where I could start touching her with it, and then she got more comfortable with it, and I rub it on her feet and stuff, and she got more comfortable with it. And it took me about 4 months of watching movies and sitting down next to her and grabbing her feet and stuff like that, and just playing with her feet in general. And she would rip her feet away from me all the time. She would run into the other room. She would do a number of things. But my dog's super important to me, so I wanted to get to the point where I want her to feel comfortable with me, at least somewhat being able to maintain her, because this is her defense mechanism. Her mouth and her feet are the only thing that she can use to defend herself. She can't kick. She can't do anything else. She can either run away or she can bite. And what dogs like to do is dogs like to run away. They don't like to fight. If they don't have to fight, they're not going to fight. But if they feel threatened, they're going to fight. So what I had to do was I just had to get her used to letting me grab on her and touch her and stuff like that. You can see she walks outside a lot. You see how long her nails are here, but how much shorter they are back here. It's because I've been cutting these down over the last couple days a little bit at a time, because she just really does not like me touching her. What I'll do is I'll start this on the lowest setting, and I'll put it here so it's real quiet, and it won't disturb her that bad. And then I'll switch it over after she's gotten used to it for a little while, and I put it on the higher setting, and then I'll just cut it back. Let me get in close here so I can show you how I do this. I don't really mess with her quick too much. The quick is the bottom part right here. If you look, this center part right here is the quick. that center, that black part right in the middle of the nail. And there'll be like a dry, powdery substance. You can see a nail right here that I haven't done yet. Well, these are kind of cut back, but they're not completely cut back. Right there. You can see in that nail in the bottom, it's, I worked on my truck a little bit today, so my nails are just as dirty as hers. You can see right there in the bottom of that nail, it's kind of dry looking. And it's got like a powdery base. And once you start to cut back on that powdery base, it'll start to turn into this real nice, what do you call that? Like a waxy looking substance. And once you get to that waxy substance right there, you know you're into the quick and you've done cut all the dry stuff away. And then what I'll start to do is I'll start to lightly shape and pull back on this back part here so no debris and stuff can get caught in it. And then I'll round out the front a little bit. Now these I got to work on a little bit more because I can only do a little bit at a time, because she really starts to freak out once I start cutting on these nails. These took me about a half hour each earlier today of doing a little bit at a time, because she really just hates it. And then I take my Mechanics hand cream and I'll rub on all these dry spots right here, and a couple days later they'll be back to nice and moist again. And I get that from CVS. It's a green bottle. It's Mechanics or Men's. It says Men's Hands Cream, and it's the only thing that I've found that will dry, or that will re-moisten the skin in these areas right here. And then I'll rub her paws back down with it again, because she's older now. I mean, she's 10.5 years old, and this dog is terrified of people bothering or messing with her feet in general. And I was talking to the vet about it, and the vet was telling me that, you know what, she's a direct extension of you, so any kind of stress that she plays off you is it's going to directly affect her as well. And if, see, I just touched her just now and she just jumps really bad. Now she don't want that thing on her leg, and chances are, see, I just touch her with it and she's already jumping. She don't like that thing touching her. So sometimes when she's laying down, I'll just kind of lay it up against her and just let her know it'll be okay, girl. It's not going to do nothing to you. It'll be all right. And then eventually she gets to the point where she'll let me have at it and start to trim those nails back. It's okay. It's okay. Now when I turn it on, she's going to freak out. It's okay. It's okay, girl. And eventually she'll give in, and she'll be comfortable enough to where she'll lay here and she won't jitter or nothing like that, and she'll be real calm, and then she'll let me start having at them nails. If you guys are interested in seeing me do one of the segments where I actually cut her nails, I'll bring my tripod out here and I'll show you exactly what it looks like and how I go about doing it to make sure that her nails are just short enough to where it's not dragging the ground, but they're not so short that they're pulled all the way back up here into her joint area. You know, I'll bring them back into about right in here somewhere, just so they're not touching the ground. But I see some people trying to get their dog's nails cut all the way back into here, and then when they go like to play and stuff like that, they can't swipe their toys. They can't go out in the backyard and run and grab stuff for you. They use their paws to do all that stuff. There's a number of things, and their nails are an important part of that. If she was to ever go out and try to defend herself, you know, there are other dogs around here that get off their leashes and stuff like that. Well, boxers are a very, very, very tough breed to cut. I've had people bring their dogs to me and, you know, just leave them with me for the weekend, and I'll play with them, and then by the end of the weekend I can cut their nails. But boxers, bully breeds, those breeds especially, I find I have the most problems cutting their nails and stuff like that. And sometimes when people leave their animals with me for a little while, you know, a couple weekends in a row, they start to trust in me. See, look how bad she's shivering here. She's scared. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up here, and I'm going to kind of comfort her, massage her a little bit, let her know it'll be okay. And then I'll get to the point where here in about the next 10 or 15 minutes, she'll relax a little bit and she'll let me start cutting her nails again. So if there's something you guys are interested in, you know, I wanted to show you guys some of the things that I do with her that a vet can't do, like expressing her glands back here. The vet will not. The one time she let him, but now she won't let him do it anymore. checking out her ears and cleaning them out where the vet can really get down in there and do it. Now she don't even want them to touch her anymore. I have to do all that myself, and the vet has had to teach me how to go through the process of doing all that and treating the little wounds and stuff on her feet as she gets older. Like here, you can see a dry spot that needs to be treated immediately. It's starting to get raw, and all these bugs are starting to flock to it. So I'm gonna have to go up there today and get some antibiotic ointment and treat it, and I'll patch it up. I use Band-Aid, that skin or that Band-Aid liquid stuff, and it seals it in pretty good, and within a couple days it's back to normal. But anyhow, if that's something you're interested in as well, let me know. Leave me a comment and I'll show you guys what I do.